I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad.
What's going on, guys? Love Smash, back with an all-new video for you guys today, and ever since yesterday's big reveal, it has the fan community talking and going crazy when we got the first look at 3 out of the 9 DLC characters for Injustice 2, with the reveals of Red Hood, Starfire, and Sub-Zero. So in this video, not only are we going to discuss these 3 characters, but also talk about the biggies, the 6 silhouettes that were shown during yesterday's trailer of the other 6 remaining characters that will be added as DLC, predictions, possible trolls, so on and so forth. Now, before we dive into that, first up, nobody should be surprised by these 3 additions with Starfire, Red Hood, and Sub-Zero. If you've been keeping up with Ed Boon's tweets, or just the fan community alone, going all the way back to Injustice 1 and highly requested characters, Red Hood has been extremely highly requested, without a doubt probably the most highly requested male character. Then you got Starfire. If she wasn't the #1 overall highly requested female, she was at least top 2 being in this game. Definitely not surprising. And then Sub-Zero being the other poster boy for Mortal Kombat, being playable just as Scorpion was playable in Injustice 1. Ed Boon always stated how he was the best-selling character. They added his DLC for Injustice 1, so it's not surprising to see NetherRealm add the other poster boy for MK and follow their old tricks of adding guest characters, which a lot of fans weren't too happy when they added all those guest characters in MKX, but to the mainstream audience, they sell very well and make a lot of money, so it's not surprising to see that again. So with these 3, like I said, not surprising at all. When I did my top 10 Injustice 2 newcomer video and my top 5 guest character video, I said towards the end of the top 10, I was like, if Starfire and Red Hood are not on the initial roster, they are 100% going to be DLC. And when I talked in the guest character video, I was like, an MK character is definitely going to be in this game, and Sub-Zero is easily the #1 most likely choice. However, we're not here to talk about those 3 characters because they're here. We can break down the movesets and do all that later down the line. We're here to do the top 6 predictions for those remaining DLC silhouettes, renders, whatever you want to call them. Now, #1 important rule when dealing with NetherRealm and silhouettes. We know that Ed Boon and NetherRealm, the team, they love to troll. This is where it gets very tricky, because these renders may or may not be legitimate. They may, in fact, just be placeholders. Now, we're going to go on this at the beginning of the video talking about if these are legitimate placeholders, meaning these are not trolls, these are the actual placeholders and renders holding the true identity of these 6 characters. So as you can see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but we're not going to go through 1 through 6. We're going to start out talking about renders 2 and 5, which are the most obvious, with number 2 being Black Manta and number 5 being Raiden from MK, another MK rep potentially. Now, I've been reading a lot of the tweets, a lot of just the comments of people being very disappointed that Sub-Zero is being in the game, let alone now Raiden being a potential option. Fans aren't too happy about that. Now, frankly, I love Sub-Zero as my all-time favorite character, so I would never hate on Sub-Zero. Raiden, I'm not hating on at all. I think Raiden with Sub-Zero and Scorpion are the top 3 iconic characters from that franchise, so if they really wanted to add 2, it's not shocking at all. But I've been seeing a lot of hate, especially for Raiden, saying, like, why would they add another MK character when they could easily add another DC character? But like I said, these renders may not be legit. We've seen that back with the Combat Pack 2. Aliens wasn't there because, of course, you put a render of Alien, everyone knew right away. So that's why these could be a little tricky and may not be legitimate. But like I said, we're going from the standpoint if these are in fact the legitimate renders for the placeholders. Now, Raiden, that's definitely Raiden, no doubt about it, the straw hat right then and there. And then we have Black Manta, that's obvious as well. Now, Black Manta is really tricky as well because you see him in Injustice 2 already as a stage transition. Now, we've dealt with games like this before, going back to Smash 3DS or even Street Fighter V. We had Toon Link in the Spirit Tracks train, and he was in the background character, and everyone was like, oh, he's not going to be playable, he's deconfirmed. Lo and behold, Toon Link was playable. Same thing with Alex in the Metro City stage in Street Fighter V. He was there. People were like, oh, he's not going to be in the game, blah, blah, blah. Lo and behold, Alex is there as DLC. But that is a difference between a background character and a stage transition. Now, it is definitely possible Black Manta could still be playable and be added as DLC, because as you can see, that placeholder is 100% him, but it makes you wonder, if he is playable, are they going to switch up the stage transition for that stage and not have him in there? I mean, it's definitely a possibility. It does make things tricky, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But judging on the renders alone, barring any trolls, that's definitely Black Manta and Raiden respectively, unless like they tried to troll with Spawn and hid him behind one of those renders, because obviously putting Spawn in there with his cape and everything would give it away obviously and ruin the surprise and all that other good stuff. But now let's move on to render placeholder number 4. Now this is where a lot of people say this could be Hellboy, this one could be Spawn. However, the character who I believe is hiding behind this render, I'm ashamed to say I didn't even know who this character was until yesterday after seeing a few people discuss him and post a few photos, and judging by the armor and the hood and just the way the body type looks, I'm going to take a guess and say this is Azrael. And everything this character can bring to the table, just look-wise and moveset after doing a little research, he just looks downright badass and very unexpected pick. I don't think a lot of people really expected him if he's in fact in this game. Dual swords, fire manipulation, just berserker strength, and this awesome look and just appearance for this character is just really, really cool. But everything this character I think can bring to the table for a potential moveset, I do believe that is him hiding behind this render. He kind of reminds me of like this like Assassin's Creed meets like Jack of Blades from Fable type character. So that is the pick for the 4th render. Now moving on to number 6. Now this is where it can get kind of tricky as well with a female representative, because this definitely looks like a female to me. The body type is very slim and slender, very feminine features such as like sharp fingernails, seems like to be very long flowing hair and a small body frame. Now you may think this is like a character like, let's say, Star Sapphire or possibly the Huntress, but to me and many other people out there, if you look at the top of the head, you can kind of see like these 2 little spikes, which could potentially be horns, but they're like these little prongs sticking out, maybe from a mask or some kind of like piece of head attire, whatever the case may be. Now, when I look at that, while it could be either, like I said, Huntress or it could be Star Sapphire, the character I believe it is, and many other people as well, believe this is Enchantress, where you see like the little 2 prongs could be that moon crest from her Suicide Squad or her older designs in the comics as well. Now that's another tricky thing when trying to speculate with this. You don't know if they're going to go with a classic design or a newer design they thought up for this game for that particular character, but based on everything alone and the evidence of the body type being a female, like I said, those could be sharp fingernails, or maybe that's just hair that's like parted and spiked at the end that's flowing down, but that moon crest that she has, it definitely sticks out, and that points to me as Enchantress. Now moving on to render number 1. Now this just looks like the most generic placeholder ever. Now this could be any number of characters. I've seen people speculate Johnny Cage, I've seen people speculate Beast Boy, who's been another highly requested character who could potentially be as well. I've seen the Atom people have speculated, but to me, if it's not Beast Boy, who I've always like, I never had a problem with the character, I know he's very highly requested, I just don't know how they would make his moveset work if he's always morphing into an animal. I mean, it's definitely possible they can do it, I just don't know if it would animate right, which an argument has been made for Spawn as well with his cape. So if it's not Beast Boy and the team worked their asses off to animate him properly, I do believe this is Captain Atom. He was a character I had in my original top 10, and just taking a quick glance at his powers and abilities, they can make an extremely unique moveset for this character, especially if you used to watch like Justice League Unlimited back in the day as a kid. Here's a character who can do a lot of things and make a really unique addition to this roster. Now, like I was just saying, when it came to this placeholder, it's such a generic one where this could be hiding the identity of a character whose features are very noticeable. Like, I'm not to go back to guest characters because I know people don't want to see a lot of them in this game, but hypothetically, if they did put Spawn in this game, you would see the cape, or if it was Rorschach, you would see the hat, or if like with Hellboy, you would see the giant arm, or like with Alien back in MKX, you would see the giant head and the tail. Stuff like that would be given away in a silhouette, so they can't just kind of put that. So that just seems like the most generic placeholder, so it is very difficult. But if we're going by, like I said for this video, we're going on placeholders alone and saying they're not trolls and they are legit, my guess is going to be, if it isn't Beast Boy and they found a way to animate him, it's going to be Captain Atom. So now moving on to the final render placeholder with number 3, and this one has caused me the most difficulty because I cannot for the life of me really truly decide which character I think this is. So then I started doing some digging. I went on every website I could think of, looked at every DC hero and villain, and there came a point where I was like, maybe it was this character, even though at the end I was like, no, it's not. I was like, maybe this is Relic from Green Lantern based on the shape of the head. As you can see in that render right there, it was very odd. But then I'm like, you know what, that has to be some kind of flat on the top hairstyle. It looks like a muscular build, and I was like, you know what, highly requested characters, sort of popular, this has to be, at least in my opinion, Booster Gold. Now, just based on everything, the build, the cuffed collar, if they went with that design, the hair, it just seems like Booster Gold to me. Like I said, I could be wrong. This one gave me the most difficulty, but that is my decision on that front. Just like with render number 1, like that gave me a lot of difficulty. If that really isn't Beast Boy, then I'm going with Captain Atom. If that's not Booster Gold, then I have no idea who that is. But those are my top 6 predictions. First render, I'm going to go with Beast Boy if they can animate him. If not, I'm going with Captain Atom. Number 2, that's definitely Black Manta barring some kind of troll. Number 3, Booster Gold. Number 4, I really gotta say that is gotta be Azrael. Number 5, Raiden, yet again barring some type of troll. And number 6 being Enchantress. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree with these? Do you see something different? Because like I said, renders are very difficult. But like I said, we're basing these on if these are in fact legitimate. I'll do a video later down the line just if we get a little more information. But for right now, these are render-based DLC predictions. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who would you think? Who do you want to see as DLC at Injustice 2? Be sure to share your thoughts. But anyway, guys, that is the end of the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And like always, for all the latest fighting game news and speculation, be sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter. Thank you guys, like always, so much for watching, and I will see you soon with a brand new video.